This week on JEB and Flow, be the parent of your future. What is the difference between looking forward and looking backward? Is one better than the other? Is there value for both? Obviously, our past is important. We don't want to block it out, but we don't want to let it dictate our future either. Check out this episode and definitely check out the action item at the end for a great way to become the parent of the best possible future. Hello there, and welcome back to JEB and Flow here on the Street Parking Podcast channel. You know the drill. If you're in a place where you can close your eyes, close them down. Otherwise, just make sure you're sitting up tall. Start with a deep breath out this time. Breathe all the air out of your lungs. Then a really slow breath in. Pause. Take in a little bit more air. Pause. Maybe even another little sip of air in at the top. And slowly let it out. And blink your eyes open. And here we are. We have this incredible ability as human beings to imagine things. And as we get older and perhaps more cynical, I think sometimes we think that visualizing things, imagining things, is like kid stuff. And what we're really saying is that we're not going to use this incredibly unique and powerful feature or ability that our brains have. I love to imagine things. I love to picture things. I love to visualize things. It's super fun. And it's actually a pretty powerful tool with some caveats. That's not really what this episode is about. But in preparing for this episode, I realized that there are a couple of places here where I will ask you to use your imagination. So I challenge you and I encourage you to really put in full effort here and use that beautiful imagination of yours and have some fun with it. Starting with, imagine this. You're driving your car and you don't know what is going on outside of the car. You don't know what's going on in front of you. You're not looking at the scenery, so you don't know what kind of day it is. You're driving in your car and all you're doing is looking in your rear view mirror. So your view of the world is contained within this tiny little rectangle, and it's getting smaller and smaller behind you. But all you can see is the road behind you and whoever's behind you, whatever cars might be behind you. Just picture that for a moment. Very narrow, very contained, very finite, and very limited view of where you have been. And now flip that. You're driving your car and you're going like top speed and you're probably paying attention to the road in front of you, but not really what's going on outside of the car, what the scenery looks like, what kind of a day it is. But you're in a state where you're a bit manic, where you've got all kinds of stuff, like you were hungry and you were thirsty, so you're drinking drinks and just throwing them back into the back seat and throwing wrappers back there, and you've got maybe some like magazines and devices, and you get done with those, you shoot a text, because you're texting and driving, you throw the phone back in the back. There's somebody that's sitting in the passenger seat, but they're being annoying and you don't want to listen to them anymore. So you're like, get into the back seat. And you throw everything into the back seat. And then you crash. And everything that was in the back of the car, the back seat, everything that you threw back there and tried to get out of your way, comes flying over the seat, into your lap, all across the dashboard, all across the windshield. You can't see out the windshield anymore. It's just a mess. And the car comes to a screeching halt. There's this great quote that I heard actually on a friend of mine's podcast, Creative Pursuits. You should check it out. It's really good. But he had a futurist on there. And the futurists quoted this early 20th century Basque Spanish philosopher named Miguel de Unamuno, I believe is how you pronounce that. He's not only a philosopher, but also an author, a playwright, an essayist, a poet, a professor. So, a bit of a Renaissance man into all kinds of stuff. But this quote was, we should try to be the parents of our future rather than the offspring of our past. We should try to be the parents of our future rather than the offspring of our past. Think about that. How much of your life is spent looking in that rearview mirror? How much of your life is spent trying to create, to birth a beautiful future for yourself? What if you treat your future like it's your child? Would you let your kid eat pizza and ice cream and cake every day and play video games and watch TV all day long and do whatever they wanted to do whenever they wanted to do it just because they wanted to do it? No. At some point, you would have to try to develop them and raise them into a successful adult. To me, that's the goal of raising a child, is to produce a really good adult. And in the process of doing that, there are going to be some times where you have to do things or make decisions that don't go over so well. And of course, there's going to be times where you let your child eat a bunch of junk food or cake or watch TV or play video games or whatever, right? There's a balance. But you want to make decisions that allow them to become a successful adult with tools to effectively navigate the world, to be a participant in life and a participant and a positive influence in other people's lives. What if you treated your future like that? You raise it right. And this requires action, obviously. It's important to note that I love the quote. And then I don't think in the quote he's saying that, like, don't be the parent, or sorry, don't be the offspring of your past. It's impossible not to. That's our default. Our default is to be the summation of all of our experiences and memories and past relationships and responses to those relationships, that everything that has brought us up to this point right now. That is our default. And I wouldn't be here right now talking to you if I didn't have some wisdom gained from the experiences that I've had in the past. I wouldn't be a coach at street parking if I hadn't gone through the career that I've gone through to get here. So obviously the past has led you to here. The past does not have to dictate your future. It doesn't predict your future unless you let it. If you're a Tom Petty fan, Into the Great Wide Open. The future was wide open. The future could be anything. The past is the past. That's set in stone. It is what it is. You could change your opinion of some of the things that have happened. You can let go of some of the things that have happened. But it is what it is. And the future is not. So we're affected by these stories that we tell ourselves. I'm like this because of that. Right? This thing happened to me in the past. This thing used to happen to me a lot. And now, because of that, I behave this way. I have this opinion. I have this attitude. It could be, judgments against people, places, and things. It could be small stuff. Like I hear so much, I hate math. I'm not a math person. And it drives me crazy because math is basically, it's kind of nature. So, it's around us. I don't think anyone hates it or doesn't really understand it. It's probably just not been put in the right perspective, or there was a bad experience, a bad teacher, or something. Now, or I hate vegetables. That's always a weird one. I hate water. That's one that I hear sometimes that just blows my mind. Or people we justify our behaviors, Like I've definitely heard from folks that are not nice people necessarily, that just say, oh, I'm just honest. That's just how I am. I'm just honest. No, you're just kind of a jerk. You can be honest without being mean. But a lot of that comes back to these stories that we've written about ourselves that are rooted in the past. And we're also affected by the people that surround us. If you're surrounded by people that will refuse, either intentionally or unintentionally, will refuse to allow you to evolve, that's a problem because you see yourself in other people. When I look at other people, I see a reflection of myself. They see something and I kind of see what they see. So if they're unwilling to see me create a different future that's not necessarily tied to my past, then that's a problem. But it's also something that I have some control over. Not that I have any right to tell someone what they should think of me. Someone else's opinion of me, that belongs to them. That is their opinion. It is none of my business. It belongs to them. And I have really no right to tell them what they should do with that opinion. I can take certain actions, and maybe those actions would change their opinion. Maybe not. Maybe I just don't surround myself with those people. So it's easy to be the offspring of our past. And it's not just because of the power of our own memories and habits, but it's also because of the pigeonholes that people close to us put us in. And it's not that they do it out of, always out of spite or with intention or with any kind of malice. honestly, it's probably unintentional most of the time. And the reason why it happens is because it's safe. We do it because it's safe. We have this concrete idea of who a person is. And if that thing changes, well, then that might change our relationship. That might mean that I have to look at myself. That might mean a lot of things. That creates uncertainty. We don't like uncertainty. We want things to just be how they are. So, how to become the parent of your future? Let's take it to the action item, which we're going to do it a little bit differently this week. And we'll clip it out so that you can come back to this and use it. But we're going to go back to using that awesome imagination again. So close your eyes. And I want you to do this regularly. So come back to this. Save the clip. We take a few minutes. Close your eyes. And go outside of your body. Like you're looking at yourself, either from a bird's eye view or from in front of yourself. And then start to imagine from here, start to imagine what your future looks like. What is this ideal future? If you were going to be the parent of your future, what does that future look like? Go at least 3 years, if not more. Go 10 years, go 20 years. But think about, what does that future look like? Who is there? Where are you? What is the setting? Are you inside? Are you outside? Is it warm? Is it cold? Are you by yourself? Are there other people there? Who are those people? This is your ideal future, so I imagine that you're happy, you're smiling, people around you are smiling. What is it that you are doing? What is true in this scene? What is a given? What are the beliefs that you have? What are the beliefs that other people have about you? And look around. Take a deep breath in and hold it while you survey this scenario. And when you breathe out, settle in. Get comfortable in this world. This is reality. Get comfortable. Relax. And staying in this place here in the future, think back. Think back into your past. And think about all the action that you took to get here, all the people that supported you along the way, the work that it took, the sacrifices that you made, the satisfaction that you feel in this moment, sitting here in the future, should inform you that those sacrifices were worth it. Think back to that time when you sat there and you imagined your future. Try to call to that person that's sitting there with their eyes closed, that's picturing becoming the parent of their future. Call to that person. Try to send them a little message. Try to draw them forward toward you. And now come back into your body, come back to the present, wherever you are. Take a breath, be still. Keep your eyes closed. be quiet and listen. Use all of your senses except for your sight. And try to sense your future self calling to you. As the parent of your future, hear it like you would hear a child, your child, calling out to their parent. Like excited, like, hey, come here. Come look at this. Come check this out. Feel yourself being towed, being drawn forward into that future, being gently pulled in that direction towards that perfect setting. And slowly blink your eyes open. Take a couple breaths. Remember that your future is waiting for you. Your future is calling to you. You want to be here now in this moment, in every moment. Trust that your perfect future is going to bring you closer and closer to it. Take the right action now. Fertilize that soil. Raise the child right. Be the parent of your future. I love you. Talk to you soon.